So welcome everyone to yet another PTC Nordic Talks webinar, where we are excited today by having Philip Bengtsson and Henrik Pira from Hitachi ABB Power Grids as our next guest speakers for a session about utilizing PTC products to automate engineering the process. But first of all, a very quick introduction about myself. My name is Torbjörn Peterson, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC and the Nordics. And we are running these webinars every week, same time, where we invite customers and partners for some inspiration on any hot topics in digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And all the past webinars have also been recorded and are to be found on the registration site. And the agenda for today is first a very quick overview of PTC by my colleague Carl from the IoT and AR team. And then Philip and Henrik will start by introducing themselves, and then touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then explain the business outcomes. And at the end, we will also have a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end. And this session is also, of course, recorded and available in a few days. So over to you, Carl.
Yep. So maybe next slide, please. PTC is a 35 years old international software company whose headquarters is based in Boston. So we provide software mainly for manufacturing enterprises with a focus on digital transformation. So we started with CAD and PLM, and now since a few years, we are introducing SaaS, IoT, and augmented reality. To you, Philip.
Yes, thank you very much, Carl and Torbjörn. So we are from Hitachi ABB and going to talk about how we have utilized much of PTC's products to optimize our engineering process. Shortly, I can present that my name is Philip Bengtsson. I am an R&D engineer, mostly worked with software development for the past 2.5 years in this company. Yeah, I let you present, Henrik.
Yeah, my name is Henrik Pira. I'm the PTC product specialist in this team, creating Creo models and drawings for optimization. So I'm going to show you the results of that from CapDes. That's our product.
Yeah.
But in a live demo later on.
Exactly. So we're gonna shortly present a bit about the project case to give some context into what we do, then do a live demo of the software project we have been working for the past years, and then give some follow-up slides from that demo and end with a Q&A session, either if you ask the questions directly or there are any in the meeting chat. So I just go ahead then. So to give some context on what we do, we have the product we work with within Power Grids is actually sell power transmission in form of electricity, and it's all the way from, I'm not sure if my mouse is showing, perhaps I can do laser point. Perfect. So we sell all the way from the power generation. It could be hydropower, nuclear power, wind farms, etc. And so then we have a substation and sell it all the way to, in different levels, to the industries. Now, our product is these stations, and they are every substation is configured and special in each way according to the system needs. So there's no substation that is look like one another. This means that there's far away from the off-the-shelf products. It's high complexity and huge need of configurations for how these stations should look like. Now, where we especially work with is capacitors. So they stretches from single units to banks to system solutions into the whole final product, which is a major project in itself. Now, to sell as much as possible, we want to go from the customer specification and go into a system solutions as fast as possible. And this has been done in many different ways, but there's so much variables to think about, and we try to approach this in a new way with a configuratable way, I would say. And that is what our products or our project is all about. We will show this shortly, but we call this CapDes for capacitor design. And the goal is to go as fast as possible from a customer specification and work with one single system to get all the data in one place, calculate a cost optimized solution, but also bring out the solution itself in the form of the required documents, the 3D information as well. It's really difficult to show in slides, so I would give the screen to Henrik Pira to show the system in which we are developing and continuously developing in, and it's built much on the PTC products in which we are here for. So yes, I'll hand over to you now, Henrik.
Thank you, Philip. Can you see my screen? Philip, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Sorry. So this is our software called CapDes. So now I'm going to show you very quickly a design and then the result of that design. So I choose a product. I want to build this in Ludvika, and I want to have the units from China. So do it like this. Take some numbers here. I've tried this out before, so it's going to go fast. Choose this one. And what I do now is I search for the best optimized bank solution here. So I click on this button. And now it's optimized for the lowest cost for that solution. And this is a big bank, so it takes around 20 seconds to come up to a solution. So here is my bill of material. I can see it's 68 units. We place the units in racks, and we have some insulators. We can also look into how much this costs. And now I want to have a drawing and an AR experience of this. So I need to sign it off. So, sorry, my coffee machine started. And I want to have an AR for this. And it's going to be published on this thing mark. So I sign it off. And what I need to do now is we have a web interface to what we call the drawing generator. So I need to go to that one. We have a link here. And as you see in the result, we got the release ID. And that is copied to this square here. And I load it. I get all the parameters I need to create the Creo model in this page. And I also get the thing mark ID that was the same as I had before. And as it is a QBank H, as we call it, we take this template to create this AR experience. So I take it to test here. Generate drawing. What we do now, when we do click on generate drawing, is to send this to a queue. And when the queue picks this job up, it starts a Creo session. It populates all the parameters needed in the template and regenerate it and makes a PDF out of the drawing and stores it back to Windshield with a new number. What also happens is that it creates a AR experience connected to this thing mark automatically. So, and what we also can do is if I put in a folder here, you saw the checkbox here was grayed out, and this is if it's checked, we only create a PDF. But now we also create a folder in Windshield in this context with all the drawings and models that are changeable for this design. So the engineer can go in and pick that up and finish the work if they want to add notes and stuff like that in the drawings or change the models a little bit. So I do that also, and I go to manage drawing queue and see if it's ready. It's running here. So Philip, this should take a couple of minutes and it's almost done here. Should we continue or should we look at this?
I can just only add in that all this data in which we have, it's a huge chunk of data that displays this solution that we have. It's perhaps difficult to see from an outsider, but it sort of displays the whole solution that we can provide for a customer, but it's also all linked into one and the same place, meaning that it's a fully traceable chain of the whole data flow here. And that is sort of the trick we use to utilize both Creo in the background and putting it all in the Windshield, and also in the same way in trying to generate a drawing now, and a 3D model which we utilize for a thing mark. Let's see if the drawing is ready now, Henrik. Otherwise, I jump back to the presentation and we look into the final result in the end.
I was going to suggest we can go on with the presentation and come back to the result later.
Sure. Okay. Then I take over again.
Yeah, do that.
So try to find my presentation. Yes. So while we're waiting for the final result, so just again that we have configured a solution within CapDes that we can provide for a customer, giving generating the data, and now we send it to the drawing generator to build that. So there's no design engineer that builds the model, but it's actually just a computer, a program. So the idea is to get to these 3D models as fast as possible. This is one of the output to data, but to generate these 3D models from the dream generator built on the CapDes data, as fast as possible. And from this 3D model, we can extract also drawings, automated, and also the augmented reality experience from the same 3D model. So I want to talk a bit more about the augmented reality experience. That has been a huge lift to this whole solution, that we can go all the way from a customer specification to within a few minutes actually see the solution in real size. Some of the value proposition we have seen is like it's a good way of communicating the solution we have, since a lot of the products we sell is not something people are super familiar with as comparison when you sell a car or furniture. This is actually very complex designs, and you would like to know how would this act out in the field, and how will the service engineer interact with these solutions. So they have been a good add-on in that sort of communication to actually build a better picture of what do you actually get in on top of the 2D drawings and the data sheets. Overall, the program works with a broad framework. So within our organization for capacitors, now we have it always starts with the customer, so they are not really involved with the framework we use, but they take much where they get a lot in the forms of from our program with the data sheets and the models. But both sales, technical sales, engineering is all part of working with the same environment. So it eases up the stages that anyone can actually work with the environment to put in the parameters and get the model and the job to start from to in this initial discussions with the customer. When you can show a 3D model, you don't have to go to a design engineer to actually build this from scratch. We're asked to show some data. We have reduced a lot of time in the engineering process. It could some arbitrary data, but I think you, Henrik, that was with us with this project from the beginning, can tell a bit more about that.
Yeah, I can talk about the engineering process and the time we spent before and after we went to production for this system. So for easy design, engineer, took 40 hours for them to create all the drawings needed for that particular design. And when we released this and tested it out, it took approximately 4 hours. So we reduced 36 hours for that design. We went from 40 to 4 in that particular design. So that was a really huge step for us.
We can't automate everything, but we get pretty close to if you put in all the parameters right in CapDes, we get pretty close to and the drawing actually. Let's see here. So much of what's working in the background of CapDes, it's naturally to build the drawings. It's Creo parametric. We also use Vuforia Studio to build the templates for the AR models, and of course, I'll say like a hidden feature is the windshield, but it's really essential to work with storing all the product data in which we have directly from CapDes. And it's good that we can build those structures automatically from the drawing generator. These are not directly involved in CapDes, but we have used these the Creo View and Creo Illustrate as well to view the designs and also to create some animations. How are we going with the design, Henrik?
No, it's done. It was done when you took over the.
Okay. But
how is this the last slide or?
no, I would just say that on top of all of this, what you actually see is the most to connect the tools is built with HTML and Java, and the interface of CapDes is what you saw, and we connect a lot of data as well with the SQL management. Yes, so I think we can show the design and then go to a Q&A.
Yep. Do you see the results there, or see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep. Good. So this is the release ID, and when it was done in the queue, I could refresh this page and get 2 extra links here. So one is to drawing. Now I already opened that up. So here you can see if you can make a fast calculation, you can see it's 68 units in this design and 9 racks as we saw in the bill of material. So it created a correct design here for us. So this we can send to the customer, or even sit with the customer and show this final solution from us in a couple of minutes. And we also get, if you click on this, I can do it so you can see. So we have made a document that the customer also can get, so they can scan their thing mark right away. They can print this, take it out on the site, scan it and see the solution directly, or around the conference table. You can put this on and the design on the table and look at it.
Yeah, it worked. Fantastic.
Yeah, so if the audience want to look at this, I can keep it up when we have the Q&A.
Sure.
So they can scan it with the phone. It's Via View, is it called that?
Creo View. No, before your view. Sorry.
Before your view, yes. If you have that on the phone, you can scan the thing.
Or download it from a store now, actually, before I view, just and then you can scan that in a few seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an exact representation of the data you get in CapDes, and I think it's cool that it has been live now for a couple of years actually, in which we actually run this. It was we sped it up quite a lot. I think we can talk a lot about the architecture and so on, but I hope you get a good picture, and let's move on to the Q&A.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Philip and Henrik, for a lot of inspiration and great demos. So as you said, I mean, over to you in the audience, I mean, to raise any questions that you might have to Henrik and Philip. So please go ahead.
Excuse me, what is the actual configurator that configures, I mean, holds and manages all the, the technical and business rules inside this system? What is that?
Yeah, I have a good, better slide of that to show the actual configuration, but so it's all built in a Java program, and the initial well, you have some sort of input parameters, but it's always take in consideration the electrical calculation. It starts with that, then the mechanical calculation, also taking consider the construction instructions and standards, and then it starts to do that calculation, and you find a solution eventually, hopefully. And then it stores that and then reruns the loop. So I think it reruns the loops around 1,000 times, and then it stops and presents the cheapest solution.
But there's not like a commercial product configurator inside. You're not building it. I mean, there's a number of configurators available in the market, but it's not built up. You build your own configurator.
Yes,
holding the business rules and the
for capacitors. Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
So that's
Good question, Kim. And I think we have another question also from Eric Löper. Are the configuration rules made in Windchill or in Creo?
They are made in Creo. It's made by parameters, relations, and program in Creo.
All right, thanks.
So we go from a template model to a final solution only in Creo, and then we store it in Windchill. And the template model is also stored in Windchill. So, but we do the configuration outside.
Mm-hmm.
Even the experience are stored in Windchill?
No, it's not. It's stored in a separate server.
So how can you have a kind of digital thread in this case?
Sorry?
Between the customer-specific AR and the source that is in Windchill, what kind of thread did you design? Or you have no thread? You say, okay, what are the experience that I have created for all these customers? Kind of traceability? If they are not in Windchill, they are stored in a shared folder or somewhere else?
It's in the PTC cloud.
Okay, but the source itself, the package, AR package that is created, where it's stored, where it resides?
Yeah, Philip, that maybe you can answer.
Well, yeah, that is on a separate folder. But so if you update that model, then you will have another model in Windchill, and you will also have another model in this separate local folder, or is a local server, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good question. I think next step for us would to move that server, that storage server into Windchill as well. But it is a lot of the traceability here to get the same release ID with the model. We also have SQL database as an interface medium in between. So yeah.
All right. I think we have one last question also. I think we have time for that, and that is a question regarding once the digital assets generated, can CapDes modify an existing configuration, for example, if the customer specification changes?
We need to configure a new drawing on a model out of that. So CapDes cannot update a drawing in a model. So we need to create a new design from that.
All right.
Not in CapDes, but in the PTC environment. We need to do it.
I just have another question. I'm not sure if you already mentioned it. Does this solution work with HoloLens or AR glasses?
Yeah, it's a good question. No, it does not. Actually, we have.
Not for now. Okay.
Yeah.
You have stored it as a phone or iPad solution, haven't you? But for sure, if you have that solution, we can go in and change it to HoloLens.
Okay. Thank you.
It has actually been more of an active decision that to have this accessibility to a broader mass. We chosen that we have the iPhone, and because everyone has an iPhone, or sorry, not an iPhone, a smartphone, but or a tablet to scan this thing mark. But so it's more of an active decision to have it rather than a technology boundary for, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. I have one last question also. If you were about, to do the same kind of implementation today, based on your experience, is there anything you should have done, differently or?
Oh yeah, much.
Okay, would like to explore that a little bit more, or?
I think that's a different meeting.
Yeah, but a lot of this project, it has been built on it. I think from the start, I wasn't even involved in the start. It was more of the configurated CapDes, and then you started to add on new functionalities, and then you realized that you could add on new functionalities, and with the 3D model, we could expand that and link that to the thing mark. And so on. But I would say doing that development, there's a lot of steps now that we are dependent on that I think we can optimize much more faster right now. So there are a lot of scripts, a lot of codes in between that I think we can optimize, because we're linking to so many different systems. I think it starts with CapDes, then it stores product data in SQL, and then we send it to a drawing generator and back to Windshield. And then this question about this local system, that was just needed from the start, but I think we can give that to Windshield. So there's a lot of different systems in between that I think have become inefficient with the time being.
Right, thanks. I'm terribly sorry to say, but time is actually running out. So thanks everyone for joining, and a special thanks, of course, to you, Philip and Henrik. But also stay tuned for the next Nordic Talks webinar already next Friday, as always, regarding digitalization of value chains for a stronger and more innovative in the industrial sector. So with that, I wish you all a sunny weekend and stay safe, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.